Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 279 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today on the show, we're going to take you to a really amazing, almost custom-built single-family attached that's in a little spot of Dallas that not everybody knows about, but those who do rarely leave. So you're going to want to watch that. And what are we going to talk about in the second half, Jeff?
In the second half, we're going to talk about the benefits of living in a high-rise.
Lots. This is interesting because we actually just had a client that bought one of the penthouses in the Cedars, and it really kind of made us think, well, I think we've got an idea for a second segment that will be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit about what you found in home upgrades for us.
I would like to know who's been in the news.
Who's been? Well, apparently I was in the news with the NPR crowd, KERA. They did a little segment on us playing pickleball one morning over there at Cole Park. Yeah, it's a good time. It's funny as heck. It went out this week, and I got like 8 text messages from people who are like, "Did I hear your voice? Did I just see you?" Yeah,
That
turned out really good. It was a fun time.
Good guys. Good.
Fun guys to hang out with. Check it out. There'll be a link, I'm sure, in the comments. But let us know. It's funny.
So now let's jump into home upgrades.
All right.
So you want to talk first, or you want to?
You go right ahead.
So the first one we found this week is something you really need to look into, and this is the Costco cabana, and it's 8 foot by 7 foot. It comes as a kit. You can order it online only. The price doesn't show here, but it's about $1,800 to order, but it's fully self-contained.
What a great idea. I mean, you could not do this cheaper any other way. And the design and the color, I think, is right.
I agree.
If it lasts for about 5 years, it's worth every penny. I see this working really well for a lot of backyards that just want to have like a really cool, I mean, your friends would use this like crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of them would. And, I also see this as a wintertime storage facility.
It could double as
So,
that.
you put those chairs in, put some of your outdoor stuff in that you don't want out during the winter.
Winterize your plants in there.
Yeah, true.
That'd be great. All right. So Jeff also found a really interesting thing, and it is called a rotating kitchen island. And I think this one is amazing because of how many people we have that live in condos or townhomes that have space as a premium. This is a really great solution for that, and it's super stylish.
I thought it was very cool. The people are moving in smaller places, and as people move into smaller condos, smaller houses, they need this kind of utilitarian product that helps them live.
Whether it's your first home or you're downsizing and everything in between, this right here is a smart idea.
So our last idea is kind of a flashback to the 1950s and 60s. And this is a company that uses a light form cement to do breezeway blocks. And they do lots of different patterns. I love this Alix pattern. I've never seen the sunset clouds. I like that though. What'd you think?
I like all these. I have always liked these. I actually am a member of a group on Facebook called I Break for Breezeway Blocks. So for me, this is like right up my alley. I tried to get Jason to let me use breezeway bricks as the exterior decor around our outdoor kitchen, but he didn't like them. So we did something else, which came out fine. Love it. I mean it. But I think it's really smart. I think it's a really great way to add interesting elements. Diffuse light. I think it's also really smart when you were trying to connect to exterior buildings like a detached garage. I think it's a really great screen and a pool. So for me, I think thinking about these differently than just in the regular format is really something that goes with the distance here in Dallas.
I agree. Totally agree. So next we're going to talk about Market Watch, and this week's numbers are down a little bit. It's not a bad week. We're getting closer to the end of the month, and so that kind of, we just go through these cycles of lots of stuff going on. So coming soon is a status that is optional in MLS, and agents can choose to put their house in there. Can't have any showings on it during that time, but it's kind of the first stage for listings. And so those are up 10% in the last week. New active listings, the number of those are down 6% to 527. If you look at those two blocks right there, you'll see the number of coming soon listings compared to the number of new active listings. And so you can tell that it's a small segment that actually uses that status. Option period contracts, that's usually the first status that people go into when you're under contract. And those are up 1%.
Well, and after a contract has finished its negotiations, it moves out of an option period. The next status is going to be pending. And this is typically when everything is just wrapping up and it's in the lender's hands at this point. There's been no change. We are flat, which is a really good sign because we were up so much last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move into sold. Solds are up 5%. So that's up 14 units to 307 versus last week. And last week is also up. So things are really starting to move. I think everybody kind of got done with their vacations and the 4th of July. And we're really starting to see things evolve. I know that even you and I have noticed in the last 72 hours, our sphere has really like kicked into gear.
I think we're going to see that late spring, like fall business. You know, we really didn't see the big upsurge this spring because inventory was still low, interest rates still throwing people off. But I would bet that just based on what we've seen over the last 72 hours, between now and Labor Day is going to be a haul.
It could be an event. Mortgage rates are also holding at 6.7, which is just about the same as they were last week. Information that we get about that is on Optimal Blue. Check out Optimal Blue because you can also find out historical information both on 30-year fixed, jumbos, and 15 years.
And it's not that hard to get into the 5s.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It is.
It is coming.
And so there's two things. Get ready to get pre-approved and get ready to make a phone call if you're trying to sell your house. Things are about to shift. So with that being said, we want to introduce you to 3617 Springbrook Street.
This is a beautiful single-family attached home that is in this little nook of Dallas that not a lot of people, well, you said it best earlier, not a lot of people know about it, but those that do usually don't move out.
They do not. So not a lot comes on the market. So when it does, it's really kind of like a very sought after area. Reason being is because you're tucked into an area of Dallas that is super easy to get around, whether it's Uptown or Highland Park. All of that is easy to get around, but it's tucked away so that there's no through traffic.
Mm-mm.
So you don't have the hustle and bustle of the city, which is really, really unique. This is super close to the 75, which is central, gets you up and down, but also when you're going from 75 over to the toll road, just jump on Wycliffe and you can be there in, I don't know,
5 minutes.
Yeah. Something like that.
And, both airports are a breeze to get to in this. You have a lot of very usable points there because you're right there at the Katy Trail. And as we've talked about ad nauseum, Katy Trail can get you anywhere to any of the other trails in Dallas you want to go to.
It is the jumping point off for
it is.
So many of the other trails that are coming in online, as we say. So this is going to be 3617 Springbrook Creek. This is a very, we want to talk about what people like to do.
Yeah, we do. And one of the things in this area is Al Bernays. Al's a former client of mine. He bought some land from me a long, long time ago. He is a really an amazing restaurateur because when I walk in there, if I haven't seen him in 5 years, he instantly says, "Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Yeah.
How's the real estate business?" He used to manage the really fancy steakhouse that was downtown, and he left there to open this on his own.
Dakota's?
Not Dakota's, and has just really blown this up. It has two restaurants here now. I can't say enough good about them. They're such good people, and it's such great food.
Excellent food, excellent all the way around. If you're looking to impress someone, this is definitely a place to go. And
people watching.
Yeah.
Ooh, people watching is amazing.
And again, this is a very, very strong staple of Dallas. One of the other staples that we have over here, and kind of shifting gears, is going to be the Dallas Animal Emergency Clinic. And I feel like this is something that so many of people in Dallas in this area have pets, and you're going to see them on the Katy Trail. This is a really great thing to know because it's not just a veterinarian clinic, but it's also an emergency room. And they do have after-hour services as well. And I remember one time I had dog set for a really good friend, and this is one of the things that was on the list. Be sure that if anything happens to Braxton, that you take him here. And so since then, I've always thought, that is my go-to. So know where your emergency room is for your pet.
And the last thing we were going to talk about in the neighborhood is the Auberge Resorts at Knox. And this has been a decade in the planning.
Correct.
And There's finally one developer that has absorbed all of that land just right off of Knox and Travis heading south. If you've been in that part of the city lately, there's a lot of construction going on, but that is literally a big dig.
It is a big dig. And there was a lot of talk back in 2006, 5, 6, and 7 that we were going to get the Mondrian Hotel that was going to go into Victory Park. We didn't get that, but we are getting this, and this is equivalent, if not better. And the reason also that we're kind of pointing this out is when you're looking at buying in a certain area, it's always fun to know, do you think this is going to be an ascending market? How am I pricing? This is one of the things that will actually drive prices up. We know this because we actually just sold last spring a 2-bedroom condo for just under $1 million in the Katy on Knox.
Right across the street.
And it was single-handedly because the buyer knew that Auberge was coming in, was willing to pay that, knowing in 10 years there would be a whole different price point for this area. So,
and this is a combination of hotel rooms, residences, spa, commercial space. It's everything.
It is. Check it out. Great site online. Massive changes will be happening in this area. If you're looking to get in, this is definitely the time to think about that.
So let's talk about our property. This is 3617 Springbrook Street, Dallas, Texas. And this is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage, just over 3,500 square feet, and is priced at $2.995 million.
It's a great house. As we tour this house, you're going to see that there's a lot of elements that they've focused on that both create architectural but also harmony within this home. And I think one of the first things that stands out to me is this not enclosed courtyard that allows additional light on 3 sides. It is accessible for you to walk out from the inside, but it really also adds this element that prevents a guest from being at the front door, from being able to see all the way in, kind of lets the house have more of a meandering and slowly reveals itself rather than just be on display all at once.
And it's a very well laid out home. They've built in a lot of little things that are those architectural elements. They did the low long fireplace in this with the sealed glass, which people will actually use that in this environment on those 3 days that it's cold here. But the living room is big enough to give you a lot of flexibility. The dining table that they've chosen is probably on the smaller side of what that space will accommodate. The bar level eating is really super handy. You've got 3 spaces there, and there's all this room to do your prep work.
I think that Hudson Construction did a really good job of keeping it simple, but keeping it tasteful, like the white oak on the floor and in the cabinets. Also, they're using the higher-end appliances, SubZero and Wolf appliances that just kind of work together. That also transom lights higher up allow for a lot more light and still allow for privacy, which I feel like is so important in these kind of situations. When you come upstairs, this is the master bedroom with a vaulted ceiling. Also, it has its own step-out balcony out the front.
I really love the master bedroom. It's oversized. There is flexibility in how you can arrange that if you want. They continued those white oak floors all the way up, and then go into tile as you enter that master bath.
I like that when you go into the master bedroom that everything makes sense, where it's not it only can go on one wall. That flexibility is really important. Here you can see that you've got this step out balcony that's much larger than just a Juliet, which is not much at all. This actually can take a table and chairs. Coming back inside the primary bathroom, again, Hudson Construction is very thoughtful in the way that they put together rooms, the materials that they use, and the way that they construct everything. This just shows a seamless glass enclosure with 2 sides of the same granite on the walls. Again, it's just really clean and simple.
And this is the upstairs living area. So you've got the downstairs living area that's really great, and here's what you get to come to upstairs. The access is just really the flow of upstairs, I think, is really cool.
I like it. Also, there are going to be 3 bedrooms. We're going to take a look at 2 of them, ensuite as well. Again, thinking about how easy it is to make configuration for bedding, nightstands. All this is very simple. Really well done bathrooms as well. We didn't highlight those, but you can actually click on the link in the comments and you can go through all the pictures that we didn't use just in order for the time that we're using here.
So this is 3617 Springbrook Street. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2-car garage built in 2018. It's just over 3,500 square feet, priced at $2,995,000, which brings it in about $847 a square foot.
This is a great house. We'd like to say thank you so much to Sharon Red for allowing us to feature the home. Again, in the comments, click on those and you'll see a link that'll take you to this actual house, and you can look at all the pictures and actually zero in on that map and get a better idea of where this house is.
And with that, we'll be right back.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second segment, episode 279 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
And I am Weston Pugh. And today we're going to share with you a little bit about high-rise living. And this is going to be just a kind of like a quick discussion, and Jeff is going to kind of be like, what are you doing? Tell me what you think is one of the most important things you make when deciding on which high-rise you would live in.
I think there are probably going to be 3 that would be at the top. But
Okay.
I think the top one would be the building amenities, and am I going to use the bulk of the building amenities?
I swear to God, we do not share the same brain. That is exactly what I was going to say. Because to me, I think that's where your HOAs factor into the amenities. And so if you don't use those amenities, you're paying for something you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a bigger ticket. It can be a bigger ticket item a lot of times because it's based on square
Absolutely.
footage. So the more square footage you have, the higher your HOAs will be in these high rises. But we have some HOAs that have, a wine room
Mm-hmm.
and they have wine storage. That's great. And I understand that, but that wouldn't be something that I would be interested in.
Yeah.
1505
or 1200 Main Street's got a huge movie theater in it.
Exactly. And they do lots and lots of events around that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important. But I also don't want to spend a ton of money because the downstairs has a massive office area.
Right.
I'm like, I'm never going to use that. So there are things to be conscientious of. And that would be my number one for sure. What would be your number 2?
My number 2 thing that I would like about living in a high rise is the security of it.
Really?
Yeah, I would that to me, that is because we've had friends that have moved into high rises because that is a concern to them.
Mm-hmm.
And having that person, if it's a building that has a front desk, having that person down there, having that person screen everybody before they get into the building is very, very important.
I think for me, especially on the unit that we just sold, I felt like the view was stunning.
Mm-hmm.
I say that because units need to be seen. You showed him in the day and also in the evening to give him. And then when we went back and we're walking him through with like some of people that he wanted to have check it out, that view is like living art to me. And I felt like it was an extremely interesting thing. I also like the fact that he wasn't facing due west because, there are a couple in downtown Dallas that one side is
The Metropolitan.
due west.
It's due
And
west.
it is so hot. You
Yeah.
have great views, but it's so hot. And I liked that this had been kicked off a little bit,
Mhm.
and that you had downtown, and you had the Calatrava, and you
Mhm.
had all these views that just kind of created an entire thing that just was constantly changing. And I was like, you get lost and just relax up here.
Yeah. One of the I think one of the other things that people find very attractive about living in high rises is the lock and leave capability. Because if you're someone who, say you're in town 2 weeks a month. I mean, some people, that's their life. Their job takes them somewhere else, and they just want a small place here. You can lock the door and leave, and you don't even have to tell anybody.
I think the last thing that I would say for high-rise living for me is that so many of these high-rises are in really urban, where the
Mhm.
lifestyle plays like another factor and another layer. So you can go downstairs and you can walk to the dinner, or you can walk to a theater.
Mhm.
There's that element, like Will is going to be able to catch the rail and be at American Airlines, or he
Yeah.
can be all the way in McKinney in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of elements that not living in suburbia or just almost suburbia, where the only thing you walk is to walk your dog.
Mhm.
This is actually getting out and having that life expanded.
So hope that was helpful to you. It was. It's always been a really interesting subject to us. We've had a lot of clients that we sold high-rise units to that love where they live, and it's unfortunate for us because they're probably never going to move. But anyway, hope you found that helpful. If there's any other topic you want us to discuss, just put it in the comments below.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.